Today's video is a little bit different because I'm going to be putting two countries head to head and us fist to fist. You get the idea. By comparing typical tactics we use here in England and the UK to how our friends fish from across the pond. Howdy. And I promise to do my best to not be offensive or stereotypical in any way, shape or form because, dang it, gone done it already, y'all. So let's see who will come out on top. I thought that was my line, but no, this is my channel. Oh, and I decided to do this on probably one of the coldest nights of the year so far. Now you're joining me on the banks of Woodside Lakes, and more specifically the sands, which should be absolutely perfect for what I want to do for this video. But before we jump into the tactics and bait application and everything like that, I want to take a few moments of your time to thank the sponsor of today's video, Fishing Clash. It's a mobile game that gets you fishing even when you're not on the bank. Now I get terrible cabin fever between sessions, and despite the fact I only got back last night from this exact session you're about to watch, I'm already thinking, when can I get out again? So something like Fishing Clash on my phone is perfect for between sessions and sometimes between bites to give you that little fix that you need. And it's not just predatory fish on the game, there's also carp and barwon and things like that to go for. Now Fishing Clash is more than just a game, it's like stepping into an amazing world of endless locations from Alaska to the Amazon, and trust me, trying to catch bigger and better fish is just as addictive on the game as it is in real life. And there's loads of different fish on the game. It's not like there's just one or two. I've lost count of how many I've caught now, and I'm learning new species just as much on the game as I would if I went fish for them in real life. But I'm not having to go all around the world to discover them. Now, as you can see here, I'm playing in a 1v1 against someone random in the world. And yes, I want to beat them, but trying to keep my little bar at the top of the screen into that little combo section is the most addictive thing in this game, I swear. Sweet, we won. Now, along with all the different types of gameplay and the fish you can catch, you can also customize your equipment when it comes to your rods, your reels, your lures, fishing licenses. You can fish different locations, and all of this plays a part in the type of fish and size of fish that you end up catching. So it's not like you play the game for 10 minutes and you've done it. This just continues on and on and on, keeping you hooked on the game. There's also an option to join fishing clans where you join others to become one team working together. You can join existing ones or create your own like I have. Just give it a name and a description and you're done. Mine is Nothing But Fishing for Nothing But Fishing Crew. So whether you love fishing or just a good challenge, Fishing Clash brings it all together. So if you want to join me on Fishing Clash and support my channel by downloading it, then use my link below, or alternatively scan the QR code on your screen right now. Once on the game, go to the gift codes tab, enter code Curly for a special £20 reward. You'll get unique items and even an exclusive avatar. So a big thank you to Fishing Clash for sponsoring this video. Now I got here probably around 24 hours ago. It certainly wasn't as nice and sunny as it is right now. We just finished having a load of heavy snow and it's due to get down really cold. So what you're going to see is me getting the rods out yesterday evening. Now firstly, talking about the bait that typically gets used over in the States. It's something called pack bait. I've done as much research as I could on it to try and get much more of an idea of what exactly pack bait is. It's essentially a method mix type thing, although I did find one article on the website that was very adamant it's not a method feeder. It's very, very similar, and the ingredients that you use basically combines together to make something much like a method feeder, is what we'd call it in England or in the UK. But a lot of these ingredients I couldn't actually get from the supermarket in person. I had to buy them from Amazon, get them delivered. It took a few days. Some of them came from quite far away because we just don't really have them in the UK. And these are the items I've got. You may get them in your local store. It may just be mine. Starting off with Quaker oats. We've got rolled oats there. That's going to be the main bulk of the mix. Then we've got something called grits. I'd never heard of grits before, but this is something that goes into his mix. Here I've got 3 packets of the original, 3 butter flavour, 2 cheddar cheese flavour and 2 country bacon flavour. I'm not going to lie, instant grits flavour variety, and they spelt flavour wrong. There should be a U in there. I'm not going to lie, that sounds pretty disgusting to me, but I will try one of these within the video. So stay tuned, I'll try one of these flavours. Not sure which one yet, which one sounds least horrible, but that's what's going to be going in here as well. Then we've just got breadcrumbs. In the video that I found, I used panko breadcrumbs, I think it was. I've just got white breadcrumbs here, about the amount that should be needed. Then we've got something called sweet corn cream style, so creamed corn. Again, doesn't sound that nice, but it should help bind it all together. So normal sweet corn, which is going to go in. Obviously, we use that a lot in the UK as well. And then we got some Jello. So this is going to be going in a bit of the strawberry flavour, gives it a bit of colour. But I also think it helps with the actual binding of it all together. So those are the ingredients. The mix, I think, is completely up to you. As long as you've got a pack bait that packs around your method feed or a lead, that's the end goal. So we'll start off with the oats. And in the video I watched, he uses, I think, about 500 grams, and this is a kilo. So I'm going to use half of this box to start with, or as close to that as I can get. A bit more. I'm going to use it all because obviously I'm here for 24 hours, so that's probably about half. That's the start of the mix. And then we add some grits, which I'm guessing is just like a thicker version of normal oats. And in the video he uses, I think, a cup. So let's use... I'm going to keep back the country bacon. I'm going to try one of those in this video. So we use 2 of the butter. So I'm pretty sure he said a cup worth of this. So I have got my mug to do a rough measurement. Just doesn't really smell of anything, but anyway. So there's 1 packet. 2. Now, if you are American watching this and you think, what on earth are you making? Apologies, I've just gone with the one that looked closest to what I could see on loads of different videos. 1 more butter, there we are. Let's put the last of the butter in. That should be a cup's worth. Or mug, apologies again. Not perfect, but that should do. So we've got about a cup's worth of grits. Butter flavour, so fairly sweet. Yeah, we're going to clean my mug up before I have anything from that later on. Breadcrumbs, I've got 4 of these little pots. So I'm just going to chuck a whole one of those in. Again, that's probably what they call the equivalent of a cup. That goes in. This is all just the bulk base feed, I suppose. And then we've got a bit of sweet corn. That's going to go in. Don't need to drain it because, of course, you want some of that liquid to bind it all together. So that's just all going in. I've got another tin as well for some hook baits. Bit of jello. Apologies for that. I keep doing a really awful accent. In the video, again, he uses about half a pack of this. So I'm going to do the same. Keep me some for tomorrow. Oh, that smells amazing. Proper sweet artificial strawberry jelly. And then we got sweet corn, of which I need to get a can opener. Well, I guess you don't actually need to get cream corn. You could just buy sweet corn and blend some of it and put it into a mulch. But there we go. In goes. He's got some of that noise for you. Oh, ASMR style. There we go, that's all the ingredients. Now, I've left my mixing spoon over there, so time to get a bit mucky, and that should be everything I need. I guess if it's not binding or it's a bit too dry, I just add some water to it, but from the video, he just says mix all this together until none of the yolks look white, so they've been touched with the ingredients. Leave it for a bit. I guess the jelly starts, or jello starts to do its magic and bind everything together. But, oh, that's cold. My hand is covered in creamed corn. I'll tell you what though, this does smell quite good. It's going red in colour, which as you can see on that camera, is starting to come together. But most of it's sticking to my hand at the moment, so mix this all around until the whole thing is covered. I'll tell you what, I've not done much method fisher feeding in the past, but I always find getting the consistency of the ground bait a right faff, and considering this hasn't used any lake water or anything like that, just the ingredients straight out of the packets, that's already come together and is binded quite nicely. Good colour, red with some flecks of white in there with the oats. The sweet corn is sticking in there nicely. That should bind around the method feeder really easily. Now that is well and truly mixed now, so I'm going to leave that for 5 minutes, 10 minutes while I get the other rod ready and show you how I'm fishing on the England style or UK style. And when it comes to the English way of fishing, it's a lot simpler. Boilies straight out of the bag, which I've then added some smart liquid to, just to boost the flavour. Really simple. Squeeze it on in, mix it round, leave it for a few minutes to soak in, or overnight, which I have done with this lot, and we're good to go. A lot quicker, not quite as messy. Well, that's both of us ready. Time to cast them out, and I feel like I've got to get into the spirit of it a bit more. Let's put the English one out first, shall we? Having previously found a clear spot in the middle of the lake, I set to putting each rod out, of course wearing the appropriate headwear. I wanted them close together so that there was a fair comparison, but still far enough away that each tactic could stand out on their own. last night had its positives and negatives. Let's start with the negatives. There was no fish. I heard some in front of me, and I've heard a few come out. There's a couple of other anglers on at the moment. We've had a couple of fish since I got here yesterday, and the fish were showing in front of me a bit last night, but not even so much as a beep on either rod. So that's the negative. The positive is that meant I could stay in my bed chair all night with hot water bottles, staying nice and toasty. So that was nice. But the sun is up now. It's been up for a good hour or so. Things have started to thaw out, including my rods. So I am getting ready to do a recast. The look of my rods this morning was a bit daunting because they were covered in frost and ice, and I didn't really want to pick them up with bare hands to do the recast. Now they've thawed out a bit, they look a bit more inviting to bring in, freshen up and put them back out for the day. Much the same as yesterday, continue with the two tactics. If I see some fish moving around, I'm obviously going to act upon them. I've chosen probably the worst time to try this challenge, when it's one of the coldest nights of the year so far. So what we're going to do is, this swim is kind of split to the right and left of the tree that I started fishing to last night. If I see any fish roll to the right of that tree, which is where the English style tactics is, I'm going to move that one around, and vice versa. If I see something roll to the left of the tree, I'm going to be able to move the American style tactics to the area where I've seen some fish. Trying to be a bit more proactive to catch some fish for this video and see how the methods actually work when casting towards fish, because I'm sure that if these presentations are in front of carp, I will get a bite. So let's make the most of today. It's going to be glorious sunshine and sunny skies. Still very, very cold. It's much nicer and warmer than it was last night. So let's bring these rods in, freshen them up and get them back out. Now, as both rods are out of the water, I thought I'd quickly run you through the setups I'm using on each rod. So starting with the UK or English style method, this is something I use pretty much everywhere I go if I can. It's a nice presentation for clear bottom, which is what I'm fishing on. It resets well and everything like that. So to start with, I've got about 12 inches of tungsten tubing. Now this is just a tubing that goes over your main line, so it's not tied to anything. It's free running, it goes up and down the line if I want it to. This pins the lake bed a bit more and also gives a bit of protection to the fish's scales when you're playing them. That then goes down to a really simple lead clip. Now I have this in a semi-fixed setup, so it's there, it's holding position at the moment on the swivel, but after the bolt effect of the take and the lead's done its job of setting the hook in, that swivel pulls out and it then all runs up and down the line. So it's ultra safe, but also has good benefits on hook to land ratio, I found, because once that hook has gone in, there's no pivot point anymore for them to try and ditch the hook. It makes it a lot harder for them to get rid of the hook. That's with a 3.5 ounce lead, and of course if it needs to, that lead can be ejected off the lead clip like so. So it's a really safe method of fishing. It's something I use pretty much everywhere I go if I can, and it's nice and simplistic, at least in my eyes. Now the swivel is a quick change swivel, so I can change the rigs really quickly. That's then got a anti-tangle sleeve so that I can attach the hook link, cover that with the sleeve that holds it in position and also helps kick it away from the lead. This is actually one of the Gemini Tidy booms that I've been using a lot of recently. It's a 5.5 inch boom, this one, fluorocarbon, so it's virtually invisible in the water, resets really nicely. It's just a sort of a boom that I've really liked using over the last few years. A little bit of putty in the middle to pin down at the middle and help kick that whole rig away if it needs to reset. Down at the bottom end is a little swivel which I've then attached my hook to and secured in place with some tubing, and the hook bait is actually attached by a micro hook ring swivel which is running on a really flexible supper braid D loop. Now that's tied on knotless knot style, so it's a bit fiddly tying it, but then once you've got that on the swivel and shrunk down, it's all nice and neat. It gives that bait separation from the hook, lots of movement. And then the hook bait itself is a 50mm bottom bait sail, shaved at the top with a little pink quad on top of it, so it gives it a bit of buoyancy, sits with that pink pop-up sitting upright, doesn't really waft too much, stays on the lake bed but adds a bit of buoyancy aid to it and just sits really nicely. On the very end of the hook, as you would have saw in multiple other videos of mine, I use the shot on the hook which helps that hook to turn around and really bed into the fish's mouth. And to finish it all off, I've just attached a little mesh bag which is probably about half a dozen of the 12mm cell boilies which you saw me soaking in all the smart liquid yesterday, and some of the cell stick mix as well. So just a bit of extra attraction. That breaks down, has a little parcel of food around the hook bait, and to attach that bag out, so you have to take that little shot off, slide the bag on, then put the shot back on. And that is the setup I'm using on that one. Of course, as you would have saw, once that goes out, just a few little catapults of the 12mm boilies, and that's that setup done. Now moving on to the American style. Much more simplistic. straight main line all the way through to a quick change swivel, which is securing a method feeder in place. Now, I have seen lots of different variations of this, just like there's loads of variations being used in the UK, England, and in Europe. I'm sure there's loads of different methods that you guys use over in America as well, but this is most simplistic form of what I've been able to find. You've got some sort of spring-loaded lead systems as well I've seen, but this is basically what we'd use in the UK for method feeder fishing, and it's really, really simple. So that also can slide up and down the line, just like my lead system can if it needs to, but it fits nice and snug over that swivel. Now this is a little bit weighted, but it's mainly a means of wrapping that pack bait around. It just secures all that in position, makes it nice and aerodynamic, and it's just a great central hub to base everything else around from. Now, as I said, there's also a quick change swivel there, so I can change my hook links as quickly as possible, but then the hook link and rig is dead simple. It's completely supple braid. It's actually a braid that was coated. We just stripped all the coating off. That goes down to a knotless knot hair rig with a little bit of shrink tubing on the eye just to make it a bit more aggressive. Again, a lot of the videos I saw, they don't even do that. It's just straight through onto a hook, onto a hair, or even sometimes not even using a hair, just hooking grains of corn onto the hook. It's a dead simple style, and I've actually got 4 grains of sweet corn on there held in place with a little hair stop, and that is that setup completely done. Now, I have got to wrap it round with some of the pack bait. As I told you, it got down to about -3 last night, which again is, I think, 26 degrees Fahrenheit for you Americans. What I'm worried about, I genuinely haven't checked this yet, is if the jelly has set within it, because obviously normally jelly sets in the fridge, and last night was more like a freezer. So, no, it is breaking down. It is quite rubbery, I'm not going to lie. I think some of this could bounce, but it is breaking down okay. So I'm going to mulch some of this up. If I need to add or add some more breadcrumb or moisture or something, I will do. Some of it is set into the corner, but that does look like it's flaky enough to still work. So just grab a good handful, push the feeder into it, and it's starting to stick, but I find that it doesn't stick. No, it's all just falling off. So I think I might have to do something with the consistency of this, or just use a bit more force, because what I have found is until I've got the pack bait all the way around, it's not really staying on the feeder, so it's almost like the pack bait binds to itself more than the feeder. So let's try that again. Well, that was certainly a lot more effort than it was yesterday, but I do think that's partly down to the fact of how cold it is. There we are, we've got the pack bait wrapped around the method feeder. Both rods are ready to go back out, and hopefully, now the sun's up, it's getting a bit warmer, the fish will start playing ball.
Take you where you wanna go. Take you where you wanna go.
It was probably one of the smallest carp I've caught all year, but I needed that. Well, it's taken its time to get a bite, but it's finally happened, and it's time to make it official. 1-0 to England so far. So let's show you this little fish. It is by no means a monster, but when the weather got down, oh, this fish is freezing. When the weather got down as cold as it did last night, I don't think you'd complain at any bite. And it came to a little switch to fishing to the island. Now, I know I said earlier that the right side of the tree I had as a marker was going to be for the English rod, and the left side it was going to be the American rod. But after seeing fish on the island, both sides, I thought it made sense to be the most fair to put a rod either side of the island. And so far, it's this one that's gone off first. Absolutely nailed on the little slip D sort of rig that I use. And it's gone ping straight back out as a single, no mesh bag. And then it's probably about 20 buoys around it again, which is what I did before. Because I actually did get picked up by a bird, so I had to recast as a single without a mesh bag, and that's what's gone off. Still got a few hours of daylight left, so hopefully some more to come. Just looking at how stupid I look with this hat on behind the fish, but there we go. He's ready to go back. The rods are back out. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come on that spot. Fingers crossed. Well, the rods are now out, and there's no point in delaying what I said I'd do within this video, and that is trying out grits. I'm not going to lie, the name grits just sounds like something you'd use when you're mending a pothole or something, so it's not filling me with that much hope, and I have gone with the country bacon flavour, artificially flavoured with imitation bacon bits. I've gone for this one because it is lunchtime. I had waffles for breakfast with syrup on, although the syrup was basically like one big block because it was so cold last night. But yeah, being lunchtime, I thought I'd go with something a bit more savoury. And what says savoury like Quaker grits with artificial flavoured bacon and bacon bits? So I was hoping this was going to be something I'd have to do when I get home. But the fact that you can do this with just boiling water means I have to do it now. So the instructions were quite simple. Empty packet into a bowl. I don't have a bowl, so excuse my mug. Add half a cup of boiling water and stir. That's it. Done. There is no smell whatsoever. It's just the smell of the sort of cardboardy paper sachet it comes in. And I've already boiled or measured out half a cup, so that goes on in. I mean, I'm used to having porridge for breakfast. That's nothing new, but I normally have the golden syrup flavour or cinnamon or plain. I just add my own things. I'm hoping this fluffs up because that is the amount they've said, and at the moment that just looks like a cup of soup, which if you're watching from America, a cup of soup is basically what you have when you're on like a Weight Watchers program. It's just powdered soup that you add hot water to, and that's what this looks like. So hopefully that thickens. I'm imagining it will, being oat based. There's still not really a smell. Well, it's not thickening yet. Let's give it a couple minutes, see what happens. I'll report back. Well, it's been a few minutes, and I've had to salvage it with a second sachet because I think I put a bit too much water in it. It was very watery, and Google was saying that the consistency should be smooth and creamy while still having the sort of consistency of the grits themselves remaining. Let me just show you a bit closer up what I'm about to eat. Let me know in the comment section if this is something that you'd like to try yourself. I actually think that I may be completely wrong. Americans, you'll have to correct me on this, or if anyone knows a bit more. I think this is kind of used sometimes as a bit of a sauce that goes with a meal, a bit like a bread sauce that we have around Christmas time with roast dinners and stuff. And also, I watch a lot of Beard Meats Food, and a lot of the time he has what they call gravy, and it looks like this sort of thing. No further ado, I have got a pot noodle, which, believe it or not, is more appetizing than this, which is rarely said. There is still no flavour, no smell. It just smells like cardboard. There was nothing to it, so maybe it tastes different, but I don't hold up much hope. No, it tastes exactly as it smells. No flavour whatsoever. Maybe I've had a wrong one, and I should try the butter one. What were the other flavours? Let me check. There was an original, which I'm guessing has zero flavour added to it. Well, this seems like it has zero flavour added to it. Butter flavour, naturally flavoured. That one, I should have tried that maybe. Cheddar cheese, flavour naturally and artificially flavoured, and then this one. The only way I can describe it is I'm going to have one more bite, and I'm not going to finish it because this is disgusting. It's got the consistency of a smooth bread pudding with couscous within it, but there is no flavour whatsoever. Well, if you've learned nothing else from this video, it's to never try Quaker grits on their own at least, and maybe not that flavour. I may be completely wrong, and there may be Americans watching this thinking we don't actually just eat it on its own, we add it to stuff, or we don't touch it, whatever. But I couldn't get this from the UK, I had to get it online, and the way that flavour is spelt is incorrect, which means that this isn't traditionally an English thing. So yeah, let me know in the comment section, what do you think of grits from my review? Where's my pot noodle? Just a tiny one of this. Tell you what, it would be quite good in a sloppy spod mix for zigs. It's probably all it's good for. But the rods are now in, the sun has set behind the camera and the temperature is already dropping, so I'm going to be quite happy to be in my own bed at home tonight. What do you think? As a conclusion, one bite, one fish, and it came onto the English tactics. It's a bit of a hollow victory if you ask me. Yes, I could claim that England won and was victorious. It's the superior method, but I just don't think that would be the case. The conditions that we've been in, it's been super cold, scratching a bite is a good result for these sort of conditions. I just don't think it's enough to go on to say, yes, this tactic stands out above the rest. So I reckon I'm going to do this again in the warmer months next year. It's going to be more comfortable for me, but this should also give more of a conclusive result. There should be more bites. It gives each one more of a chance to excel over the other one, give us more of a result that's a bit more or less hollow than this one, shall we say. But I hope you enjoyed this video. What have we learned from it? Well, maybe I'm not the best angler. Grits are disgusting, and pack bait is actually pretty easy to make. Let me know what you thought. Put it in the comment section below and let me know on other styles of videos or comparisons you want to see in the future. It's getting cold, I'm heading home. And before you go, remember to download Fishing Clash and use my gift code, Curly. See you in the next one.